Have there been problems with the timeliness of publication, turnaround time?
Oh, yes. When I was VP, I would look at the statistics, and at that time, there was one publication where the mean submission to publication delay was over 3 years. And I said, this amounts to theft of intellectual property. I mean, if I do good research and I submit my paper to be published and it doesn't get published for 3 years, that's it. That's like somebody stole my intellectual property, because during those 3 years, somebody else can have done the same research and published their results somewhere else, and then I lose my right to publish and claim that I was first. It's totally inexcusable. So I try to change it. At the time, there was one who was over 3 years, and there were 10 publications who were more than 2 years, the mean submission to publication. And I thought that was unconscionable. So I proposed that we have a financial penalty for journals to do this, to incentivize them to reduce their delays. And I got all sorts of excuses, and I couldn't sell the idea. When I became president-elect, people felt that this was uncalled for, and they gave excuses. Well, in my field, it's very difficult to find reviewers, which I thought was baloney. Every field, if you try hard enough, you can find authors who will review papers. In fact, it's an author's duty to review when asked, because their paper is reviewed by volunteers. So it's an obligation to do for your colleagues the same as they do for you. So I didn't buy the argument that in my field it's more difficult to find reviewers, therefore our delay is justified. In any case, I couldn't get TAB to vote in favor of financial penalties. So when I became president-elect, I talked to Lou Terman, and he agreed that this is a problem that we should try to solve. So I asked Lou if he could use his presidential suite at one of the board series meetings to have a summit meeting of the key people who are involved in publications. So Lou Terman and I, Joan Bellew was the VP PSPB at the time, Roberto DeMarca, I think, was the VP TAB, Mary Ward Callan, Tony Derniak. I think that was the group who got together in Lou Terman's suite, and we discussed this sub-to-pub problem, and we all agreed that this had to be solved. So I mentioned that I was unable to convince my TAB to impose financial penalties to reduce the sub-to-pub. So the solution we came up with is that we'll publicize the sub-to-pub, that we'll calculate the sub-to-pub repeatedly, periodically, and we'll distribute the results throughout TAB and the publications world. And that worked beautifully. Worked beautifully. And since then, we don't have any publications that have over 3 years sub-to-pub. We don't have any that are over 2 years sub-to-pub. We still have some which are over 1 year sub-to-pub delay. But the average IEEE wide is now well under 1 year.
So that's quite an accomplishment.
It's been quite effective.